pay more attention to what is above us. Our connection to the skies goes really deep. We have a very close connection to the heavens, to the stars. It's our calendar. When certain constellation turns in certain areas, signifies the monsoon or even when wind will blow. When to do backburning, when to do gardening, it's all read in the skies. We monitor it on a daily basis.
Sky Country is the roof of our house, but it is not a house for a single person or even for a small family. It's where we get our heat from, it's where we get our rain from, it's where we get our air from. The three basic elements of life, really. The modern scientists call it the upper atmosphere, the stratosphere. They have all these different names for Sky Country. And to us, Sky Country is one whole system that envelopes the world. And we all have a responsibility for anything that we emit up into the Sky Country, emit up into the atmosphere, to make sure that we are sending up the right material. We don't manage Sky Country, but we have influence on how we behave on country. So the activities that we undertake on country can have an influence on Sky Country. So there are rules about caring for country in a way that does not have an impact on Sky Country, as it's not meant to have an impact on anything that we do, in upsetting the balance of the circular ecology, which is the basis of our Aboriginal culture. For every action there is a reaction, and we need to be understanding that every action that we do may have an effect, and making sure the things we know that will have an effect that is not good for Sky Country, then there are guidance, there are rules and governance about what you can and can't do on country, and therefore you are protecting Sky Country. Sky Country belongs to the spirits of our ancestors, and of course it belongs to all the birds.
Is there any stories that you think people should know that would help them understand the connection from sky and stars to people who live here?
There is a lot of stories. You should have asked me this question first, so I would have picked one good one. Press pause, we'll come back to this. Cut. Oh, there is heaps of stories. This is one of my favorite stories. It was told to me by my granduncle. Kaigasa Usul. When the shovel-raised shark went and buried itself. And when he took off into the heavens, he had a trail of sand which turned into glitters in the sky, and it formed the Milky Way. And it has a very big part when you're in the middle of the ocean at night and you want to know if the tide is high or the tide is low. You look at the Milky Way. When it goes this way, the tide runs coulis, we call it. with the tide. The wind and the tide goes together where you can travel. When it turns gutat, when it faces south, you know that the tide is rough. You find shelter. So it is a story of protection. It is a story of guidance. And it is a story to always remind us that the Milky Way there is not only something beautiful which beautifies the sky, it is there to save your life. We'll sit and look at the stars at night. Stars never twinkle for a long time.
There are many elements that make up Sky Country. Ancient knowledge and modern knowledge both have the same goals. We do all want to care for this planet. But when we do the wrong thing and we put emissions up into the air, as we do in the modern day world in this industrial age, that gets spread all around the world. And it eventually does come down somewhere, and it comes down on other people's country. For many, many years, thousands and thousands of years, we were always respectful of when we created emissions, and that was by burning, whether it be for burning as our fire stick farming or for our cooking fires or to keep warm. We always made sure that the right materials were selected to give off the right chemicals. The trees are actually starting to struggle. Areas where there once used to be really, really healthy trees are now starting to die back. And this is all because of climate change and all the emissions we are putting up into the air today. And those chemicals are sitting up there in the atmosphere. And this is because of what humanity is putting up into the Sky Country from all around the world. And it's being shifted by the winds and affecting plants and animals, which unfortunately don't have doctors to go to.
Protecting sky for us is protecting all the birds which flies through. And that is very important. The knowledge to hold of stars, even for navigation, and the importance of all these birds where they fly. Our traditional knowledge now is trying to educate people that you have this Western knowledge, you understand. You know climate change is real. How it is affecting, sit with us and we will explain how it is affecting, how it affects these birds. And I'll go very strongly in about these birds. When the star constellation sits in a certain area, the first bird we see, Biru-biru, the kingfisher, will do its first migration. It will be the first native bird of Australia. Will fly from Southeast Asia, Indonesia, West Papua, right through Papua New Guinea, through Torres Strait, and it will go back down to mainland Australia. We know that the monsoon season will follow straight after. Followed by that, all the other bird moves. Ngade gaigay na wibad na tamik. The language refers to the giant trevally when you pull the string of its egg. When you pull the first string, the others follow in order. So when Biru-biru flies, all the other flock of the bird know that we better get back to country. And they'll do their journey back to motherland Australia. They'll go back to Kakadu and they will re-fertilize and repopulate the area. If these islands are not here, then these birds will die. Now all these birds have the most powerful job is to re-fertilizing the ground by the seeds they eat. By them not pollinating and transferring these seeds, our forest will die. Papua New Guinea jungle will die. Southeast Asia jungle will die. then it will have a domino effect. These islands here are more than islands. It's easy for people to say, pack up and leave. It's not too easy to move. These islands here are the toes of this country. And losing each island is like amputating of all these toes. This country won't be stable. It won't walk straight. It won't even have a limp. This country will fall. The flora and fauna of this country will fall. The birds, the sea life, the marine life, the swamp life of this country will be taught in history classes. Our knowledge will be extinct. It won't be saved, it won't be practiced. It won't have a continual tradition of handing down of this ancient knowledge. That's how important these islands are in the Torres Strait. And these are the islands what we're fighting for to save.
If we continue on the rate that we are going to damage Sky Country, we are going to damage our atmosphere. And we are a threat to ourselves. We are currently a threat to all the plants and animals, the fish, the reptiles, the birds and the insects. No matter what we do as humans, if we continue on the path that we are today. There are other answers.
We started getting into clean energy because it was actually a problem that we saw firsthand. When we bought the farmland, as excited as we were, there was no electricity running to the farm. We looked at off-grid systems and our fuel consumption went down. We could then operate the farm on a cleaner energy source, which then led Aboriginal Beta Terra to look into clean energy solutions that have the capability of servicing Aboriginal communities across Australia. My name is James Stevens. My mob's Wiradjuri from Narrandera area in New South Wales. My role as an Aboriginal entrepreneur, I'm a director of Aboriginal Beta Terra and also First Nature. Our solar generators provide a reliable source of energy. Depending on the size of the unit that is made, can power quite a few homes at once. So we've brought the diesel usage down to 5% as opposed to generators burning day and night. The environmental impact is far less than what it would be. Not only do the diesel generators chew up a lot of diesel, it also isn't a reliable energy source. So if one breaks down in a community, often they're out of power for a week or two, and it's just not right. Here you are, an Aboriginal company, thinking of ideas, solutions for people and the benefits it has for the environment, and seeing these units come to life, it's just so rewarding. If you go and look into how many litres are burnt of diesel just in some of these states across the Aboriginal communities, it's quite mind-blowing. A reduction in that is ultimately going to have less of effect on the environment because the diesel stops burning at the rate that it is now.
For healing Sky Country, we need to embrace the knowledge of Aboriginal people, their knowledge of fire, so that we're not putting all the carbon up into the atmosphere that happens in the uncontrolled bushfires, which we are seeing in newspaper language, unprecedented bushfires. We are returning to a system of mega fires, which haven't occurred for tens of thousands of years because of the Aboriginals' knowledge of how to manage fire that is respectful to the environment. So they're protecting the plants, the trees and the animals so that they can function to produce the air that is needed to replenish Sky Country. Therefore, that way we protect the atmosphere that covers all mobs country. And I have found you can make subtle differences which can help benefit the planet. It won't reduce the energy that people need, but we can offset it with the right management of country. It's not a matter about planting X number of trees. It's planting X number of trees very well so that they remain healthy for their lifetime and therefore can help offset some of the emissions we are putting into the atmosphere. If you're leaving the house, why do you want to leave your air conditioning on? So that when you come home, you've got a nice warm house? It doesn't take that long to heat it back up again. You can save a whole lot of the energy that we use. Do you need to wash those clothes 6 times a week after wearing them for only 20 minutes? Be mindful of understanding where your energy is coming from and what you can do as an individual to reduce your footprint. Quite often when you see bunjil up in the sky, you'll see the crows still today flying around. And most people think that the crows are actually attacking bunjil, but for us, they're not attacking. That's still our ancestors that are still passing messages to bunjil. That is, people are still here, still trying to practice culture and still trying to respect bunjil's law in this modern world that we live in. Just look at one of the night herons over there. Wrong time of the, it's gone now. Wrong time of the day for it to be out. But there's a bit of activity happening. So I think if we look around, that's usually a sign that bunjil is, there he is. Bunjil's right up there. I reckon he can hear either him or my father can hear me talking. And he's coming over to say thank you. So thank you for the opportunity to talk about Sky Country. I know that what I have said, if it doesn't mean anything to the viewers, Bunjil has heard my words and he's supporting me. And part of my feeling about climate change, even though it's worldwide, is that the people who have declared that they are the managers and the owners and the decision makers on this country have no reference to Bunjil's law, so therefore no guidance, and Bunjil is punishing us for doing the wrong thing on his country. Not punishing us, the Aboriginal people. He's punished us enough over many thousands of years, and we have learnt our lessons, and we still respect those laws, and we ask people to walk with us with our ancient knowledge and your new knowledge, that if we walk together and combine these two systems, which both have the same goals, which is to make a better world, that nothing should be discounted as invalid anymore or no longer applicable. All options must be on the table if we are going to beat this climate change, as I know we will, as our ancestors did in the last climate change and the one before that and the one before that. We are still here after all those because we never forgot our laws. And that's all I ask for you to do from now on when we make decisions about this country. It's not just one group of people, it's all of us collectively making the right choices.
Pay more attention to what is above us. Sit with people who has the knowledge for the things which is above us. That way we can work very closely to protect what is above us.